that's enough of that foolishness. Tune in the show.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, what a nice fit.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Well done, Paul.
I'm gonna tell you.
After 150 episodes. Yay!
Hey.
Okay, well, hello everyone, and welcome back to our Sunday night offering of astronomy outreach for November the 6th. Wow.
Yeah.
The Sunday night astronomy show. My name is
Yay.
hey. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay. I'm amateur astronomer as well, and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the New Brunswick chapter. First of all, I'd like to introduce our regular co-host and fellow RASC member, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moonshadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, New Brunswick. Paul, evening.
Oh.
Whoa. And I'd like to introduce our other regular co-host and fellow RASC member, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in beautiful St. John. Hey, Mike. Hey. And we have someone else on the screen tonight. I'd like to welcome our special guest this evening, Lisa Fanning. Lisa.
Yay.
Lisa joins us from New Jersey, but is actually a member of RASC Halifax. She also runs the popular social media channels known as Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and more. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Is that New Jersey or New Jersey?
Jersey.
Joycey?
I bought my jersey in New Jersey.
Okay, so on tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, our nights are getting longer here in the Northern Hemisphere, and the dark skies await for you to enjoy. So you decide to go out with binoculars in hand and take a look. Now, where do you get started, or where to start? Fortunately, there are lots of resources out there to help. One of those resources you may find helpful is the observing programs offered by the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. Now, tonight, we're going to take a look at a couple of their free programs that offer information that is easily downloaded, and you don't have to be a member to participate. And Lisa is going to give us her thoughts on the courses that she's completed through that program. So also tonight, Binal Bud will return with another fine binocular target of the week, and Mike will also be presenting his next lunar challenge.
I might give you last week's again. I don't know. It seems to be a habit now.
It is. Somebody will probably remind you.
Yeah.
Also,
Hope they do.
Rosanna has kindly provided another interesting fun facts segment for us, and Paul will have another astro tip of the week to share. I'll provide you with a look at what to look for in the night sky over the next week and mornings. And I will have all of your wonderful photo submissions to share as well. So this is a family-friendly interactive live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel or Facebook page, we are happy to try and answer all of your astronomy questions here in real time. And of course, we'd like to welcome back all of those who have been joining us through the local Rogers TV network. Thank you for your support. Okay, so let's get started then with tonight's program and a discussion around some free observing programs offered by the RASC.
Around.
Hey. Now, where's my link? Uh-oh. Oh, it's here somewhere.
The family-friendly program.
Yeah, that's
Where's my link?
Where's that one?
Hang on, let's bring this one down here. All right. I can find it here again. I probably get 15 windows open and closed it, but I think I can find it pretty quick. Here we are. Well, let me try to share my screen. Yeah, this one. Let's just drop it in here so we can all see it. And if I do this, now can you all see it?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Hey. Now, do we see
All the
it on-
possibilities.
There. Okay. All right. So we want to look here at the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. Their website is where we are at the moment. They're a national society with about 5,000 members, and they're from everything from beginner amateur astronomers like us to astrophysicists and probably Nobel Prize winners, all that kind of stuff as well. But 5,000 of us across Canada, or roughly, that enjoy the night skies. So I'm going to look underneath observing programs. We're going to click there first of all, and what we're going to talk a little bit about is what's offered by the RASC as far as programs go. So one of the ones that we were going to discuss a little bit was the Explore the Universe course. Now, Explore the Universe course is just that. It's an introductory observing program. It's available to all members, RASC and non-members alike. And the program will simulate an interest in observational astronomy, introduce good observing practices and techniques, and provide an introduction to all aspects of visual astronomy, including stars and constellations, lunar, solar system, deep sky objects, double stars, and some optional activities as well. Now, the good thing about this is that you can go here. Here's the list of objects that they're asking you to pick up. This over here a little bit. The objects that they want you to pick up to say that you have completed the program. Now, if you're a RASC member, you can complete the program, download a log book and fill out the log book and send it in and have someone in the RASC program verify that you have done it, and then you receive a certificate and a pin. But if you're not a RASC member, you can actually do the course again for free anyway, and you just wouldn't get the certificate and pin. But there's lots of information on here, and I'm going to just quickly click on the Explore the Universe program. So this is what it's all about. It's designed to provide any observer with well-rounded introduction to the night sky visible from the Northern Hemisphere, and following the Explore the Universe is an excellent way to gain knowledge and experience in amateur astronomy. You'll find that a planned observing session based on Explore the Universe results in a more satisfying and interesting experience. You'll learn to improve your observing skills. Excellent preparation for more challenging objects, such as the Messier catalog. And if we scroll down through here, we'll see what they require. The observing objective is to get 12 out of 24 constellations and bright stars, 16 out of 32 targets on the moon, 5 out of 10 targets of the solar system, 12 out of 24 deep sky objects, 10 out of 20 double stars. So a total of 55 out of 110 targets that they shoot for. If we continue down through, we'll get the list of the targets that they're offering. So here's the ones that are offered in the spring, summer, autumn, winter. These are all the constellations. So they only have to get 12 out of 24 of those. We'll continue down through observing the moon, 16 out of 32 targets. This tells us the phase of the moon and the approximate day of that phase. And then here are the features. So it even tells you the best day when to get it. So day 3 is good for Mare Crisium, Sea of Crises. Day 4 at the Sea of Fertility, and so on. Down through, and then we get into more craters here. These are craters that are available. These ones up above were seas, or the Maria on the moon. I continue down through the solar system objects: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Artificial satellites would be like the ISS, that type of thing, and sunspots. And then we can continue down through eclipses, conjunctions, meteor showers. So there's all kinds of information here to capture. And then we can even get into the deep sky objects, what they suggest for deep sky objects, like the Beehive cluster, Coma cluster, the Hercules cluster in the constellation of Hercules, of course, the Eagle Nebula, the Lagoon Nebula. These are all common ones to a lot of people on here that have telescopes. Messier 22, a globular cluster, and they continue on and on. So, and it gives you the amount of them and in the seasons on which to capture those. So this is one of the programs that's offered free. It's all downloadable as well. That's the good thing about it. If I swing back here one page, there is actually a print at home Explore the Universe workbook as well. So if we click on that, we get a 42-page workbook that pops up. And in that workbook, it lists all of the objects that we just discussed. It talks about what the course is all about, why it's being offered, and here are the objectives again. And down through here, it suggests that you record your observations, because that's going to give you a better, if you do have a logbook or you start a logbook, it's much better, because that way you're writing things down, so you're remembering what you're writing. Basically, it's easier to remember where those targets are if you write them down always. And then, of course, they talk about the Explore Universe certificate as well. That's available to RASC members. So if you become a RASC member, you can get the certificates. All the way down through there, we've got the same ideas as we just looked at. Here's your constellation targets. So that same file we looked at, this is just a larger one. It gives you an opportunity to check off the things that you've seen and what page on your logbook that you've recorded it on. So that's the Explore the Universe course. There's also a logbook page here that you can download. You can download your own logbook. If you want to expand the course into variable stars, you can do that as well. That's one of the free courses offered. The other one of the free courses is Explore the Moon. I'm saying free because you don't have to be a RASC member to actually to get these. So the Explore the Moon course is actually broken up into two parts. There's an Explore the Moon with binoculars, and there's an Explore the Moon with telescopes. So if I click on Explore the Moon with binoculars, right, here comes the whole book, one of 8 pages. And it lists all the things that you can see with binoculars. Why observe the moon? The suggested resources, planning, observing, how to do it. There's your different days of the month. It breaks it up so you have where that particular target is and what day of the month that you're looking at the moon. Down through, you've got a nice binocular version of a map here, the targets that they're going to pick out for you to try to observe. And there they are listed. And of course, it's a binocular version. So a lot of the features that you're going to pick up with telescope, you're not going to see, or with telescope, you're not going to see with binoculars. So they're picking out the larger targets here. But a nice assortment of craters and mountain ranges and Maria, all listed there for you to pick out. If we go out of that one and we go to Explore the Moon Telescope, there's a 12-page booklet there. As well for telescopes. So it gets into the same type of idea, the resources, planning, observing, how to observe, when to observe each part, and then down into the moon standard map, and as well into the telescope version. So these are the targets that it's going to list and where they are located, and you're to go out and try to find them. Just like Mike's lunar challenge. Hey, Mike?
Yeah.
And there's also a mirror reversed view too, so that if you're using a refractor telescope, and I think there's an upside down view here too, mirror reversed view. Well, there was, I thought. Maybe it's in the other one. So if you're using the other type of telescope that flips your image right to left, then this is going to be your view that you're going to be looking for. And again, it lists all the targets, what day of the week that you want to, or what day of the cycle that you want to be able to use to pick it out. And it gives some description on what the targets are. So a nice little course there as well. If you go to the bottom of this page, I believe, yeah, here's the full file, telescope and binocular, and I believe there's a photographic album right here. So if you click on that one, it's going to bring you up to a nice 36-page photographic album of lunar features. So there they all are, and it shows you exactly where to find them on the moon. So really helpful little album here.
That's cheating if you're doing the moon challenge.
Yeah, well, you can just download that and get all Mike's moon challenges. Get them all done ahead of time. The Gangaphore, Langrenus, Vendelinus, Petavius, and Furnarius. These are here at the first few stages. Anyway, lots and lots of information in there, and it's all free. It's a great way to get started as a beginner to learn about the moon. And you don't need a telescope. You can pick out a lot of those targets with binoculars, as well as with the Explore the Universe course. Most of that, I believe, can be completed with binoculars. Is that true, Lisa?
That is true. Yeah. For Explore the Universe, I use a very small telescope. It was actually a birding spotting scope.
Okay.
And binoculars as well, because I didn't have my big girl telescope, as I call it.
The cat hadn't bought it yet.
Yeah. There are several other ones here. The Messier catalog, the finest NGC objects, and I believe you can still get the data on those. You might not get the certificate, but you can actually get the data on them. If you go down through Explore the Universe as well, there is a RASC play page, Explore the Universe Online, I think it is. Is that where it is? It's right in here. Yeah, the online version. So they've got a specific page just for that. Here's the program schedule. If you click on these will take you to YouTube videos. So session 1, the basics, and session 2, the DSO. So it walks you through all the steps. Jenna Hines, who used to be the RASC observing or RASC chairman for outreach, she is in all these videos, I think, and as well as John Reed's in a few of them there, I believe, as well. So they talked all about like how to set up Solarium to use it, and anyway, they're about a 40-minute or so presentation. I think a lot of them are, but a lot of detail about how to find the objects that we're talking about, and where to look, that kind of thing. So lots of information there on that. I think it's a great introduction to observing programs. Explore the Universe is something that we, it has pieces of everything: solar system, the moon, DSOs, NGC objects, all kind double stars, really nice variety of things. And then when you get into the moon and specifically, if you really want to study more about the moon, then you can look heavily into that as well.
Yeah, Explore the Universe is definitely a great first step, because it gives you a little, like you said, a little bit of everything, and it acquaints you with the night sky. So, you're learning about double stars, you're learning about the moon, you're learning about the solar system, and you don't have to be in a dark sky site to do these. I think that's very important for people to know as well. I live halfway between New York City and Philadelphia, and I was able to complete it within a few months. The programs that are online are excellent as well. I definitely recommend that. Even if you just want to learn, just sit and binge watch a couple of episodes, you really learn a lot. Jenna and John put those out just as the pandemic was, in full swing, back in 2020, and because they were trying to figure out how to get people engaged. And a lot of people were really craving, like myself. This is how I came to RASC, craving more knowledge about astronomy, and those programs were great. They really explained what to look for in the week ahead, and broke it down into bite-sized pieces so that you could go out and plan your observing sessions. Right.
Yeah. And Emma's asking here a question for your host: are you working on a certificate program? Myself, no. I would love to get started on them, but I spend too much time doing this. I have very limited time throughout the week to be able to concentrate on anything else except for what I offer on outreach and through these pages and stuff. So, but I know that Lisa has completed a couple and is working on 2 more, I believe. Trudy here is also, she's into her astro imaging certificate, I think, right now.
Yeah, and you can do it at your own pace. I mean, during lockdown, I had nowhere to go, so I did it in the course of a few months. My husband Rob just completed Explore the Universe. He took 2 years because he has other priorities, as far as his work takes him away. So he completed it within 2 years. There's no deadline. There's no, you have to do it within a certain amount of time. It's, I definitely recommend, just jump in and see where it takes you. Definitely Explore the Universe. I recommend for starters, because that's the one where you'll start to figure out, oh, this is what I like. I like double stars. I like the moon. Right. You could figure out where to go from there.
Right. Yes. And again, like you said, with the moon and planets, doesn't matter where you are, downtown New York City, you can look up and see the moon, and the planets as well. So you have lots of options there. It's shameful to say that I haven't started one of these, and I've always wanted to, and I probably should get into them a little bit heavier, because I try to offer live feeds a lot, and I run out of things to talk about. So they would be great topics. But imagine me running out of things.
You run out of things to talk about. That's awesome.
You want to be there, eh, Mike? So Explore the Universe, like we were saying, to start out with, like Lisa was saying, start out with Explore the Universe and then work your way into Explore the Moon from there to see if that's exactly where you want to be. But there are all these other categories are still there as well to enjoy. And it's all there on their website. It's free to download a copy of it, print it out, and you'll have that, with you when you're outside observing or planning your observing session before you go out, kind of thing. So like Lisa says, there's no rush. It's just a matter of having it available. But that was big.
Minimal equipment. I mean, you said you did it using a spotting scope, Lisa. That's not much difference in a pair of binoculars,
Yeah.
Right.
That's amazing.
It was 65
what kind of things did you
millimeter
run
spotting.
into? Oh, sorry, I was just going to ask you, what kind of things did you run into in the program that you found difficult?
Some of the deep sky objects were a little bit of a challenge with optics that were that small.
Yeah.
I did have to go to darker places. Like I live in a condo association, so we have a lot of street lights, and neighbors have their lights on. So I think famously I've spoken about this, where we used to sneak into the cemetery in the middle of the night because it was dark. Just to get the Messier objects.
That's a whole new program, I think.
Yeah. Quiet neighbors there for sure.
Exactly.
Necessity is the mother of invention. The other skill that this program develops is the ability to learn how to log each of these items. So one of the things that they do recommend is take a stab at sketching. Now, I'm not an artist, and so this is these are my sketches for the moon.
I'm going to stop sharing here. Hang on, Lisa. I'm going to try to pin you up here.
I'm not Da Vinci by any means. So, they want you to develop skills to be able to describe what you're seeing, and do basic sketching. Now, the sketching is optional, but they do recommend it just to be able to build that skill set. And you're not judged at all on your drawing abilities, or they want to know that you're seeing things, you're observing things, you're observing that, I saw, for example, with the craters, I saw it better when the Terminator was right on this particular feature, or when the light was illuminated from this side. Right. It's just to reinforce those skills so that you're ready to move on to the next set of challenges, if you will.
So did you think it made you a better observer by having to do those sketches?
Oh, definitely, to do the sketches, because you really have to pay attention to what you're seeing. You're not just checking a box and moving on to the next thing. So, and for me, I'm a visual learner. So to sit down and actually do the sketches helps reinforce in my mind, where certain features are, and reinforce what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also when I did the program, John Reed had, if I can get the book somewhere, there we go. John Reed had changed his book. He modified the book, 50 Things to See with a Telescope. This is the workbook. So there's a regular book and then there's a workbook. But he had modified the workbook to be able to put your observations in the workbook, and you can submit that to your observing chairperson. So if you're not with an affiliated center, like I'm with Halifax Center, so at the time Dave Chapman was my observing chairman, I would send my log off to him, and he would then review it for completeness. If you're not affiliated, let's say you're a national member, then there's a general email address where you could send that as well.
Okay.
But if you have questions, reach out to your observing chairperson. I mean, that's what they're there for. And they're all friendly. They're not trying to stop you from achieving this. They're definitely very encouraging, and it's a wonderful program. It definitely got me more excited, because this is how I learn. To
Right.
be able to say, hey, these are my goals for the week. These are my targets, and you plan. You get to know, okay, well, this night is going to be the better night to view this particular feature, or even challenges like seeing Uranus. I had to figure out, when is it going to be high enough over the tree line. So it teaches you the skills, and it reinforces all those basic skills that you need.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea for anybody who's beginning or even intermediate, like that are into it and want to learn more about the night sky. Where to find those things. Like you're shooting for some of those things too with a Dob would be nice, because it's a manual telescope, and you're trying to find those targets with a manual scope. So that puts that extra step into it as well. Jamie on here says, I've been working on the Explore the Universe for 1.5 years. I will finish eventually. She said, I'm terrible at sketching. Not to worry, Jamie. And again, yeah, there you go. It's the idea that, that there's no rush in it, and you take your time at it. The only rush is yourself, whether or not you want to push yourself ahead to get more of them done. But with our maritime weather, or Atlantic coast weather, I'll say, it's always difficult to be able to get out a couple of nights in a row, or on an evening that I finally have a few hours, and you look outside and it's fog or crowd. But that happens no matter what part of the hobby you're into. So but I think it's a challenge to be able to get out each night and try to learn something new, and that's one way right there, I believe, through those courses. I think they're offered. Programs are great when they're free, and when they're good and they're free, it's even better. So yeah.
And another thing about RASC, you don't have to be Canadian. I'm American.
Right, there you go.
RASC has members all throughout the world, so you don't have to be a Canadian to be a member. So
right. Awesome. Yeah. So if you are a RASC member, it's easier because you get you can, again, you can talk to other observers who have done the same thing, and you get a certificate to pin. So recommend being a RASC member as well. Okay. I think we covered that pretty good. Yes, no? Any other questions, guys, for Lisa?
Well, yeah, I wanted to find out from Lisa. I think Rob was doing that too. And you both were doing it together. Did you find it easier to work with somebody on a program, or do you find it easier to work individually?
Well, they definitely want you to observe. They want you to be able to point the telescope to the target. So they encourage you to do it individually. We didn't really do the program together. We did, I would say, some of it together because he finished much of it later on after I completed the course.
Okay.
But it's important to be able to not just put your eye to the eyepiece and observe what somebody else already found. It's important to build those skills of finding the targets yourself.
Yeah.
And he ended up, because he did it at a different time of the year, he ended up having different targets than I did as well.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yeah. That's sure enough. Yeah. And again, yeah, making a logbook is going to help you to remember where those targets are. If you want to write it down or you're going to sketch it, you're going to remember that target for sure. Yeah, especially with something like the moon, because the moon there are so many targets in one small area that you're trying to capture.
And these are the two beginning programs. There are other programs as well. There's the Isabel Williamson, which is a much more advanced moon program. That's one of the ones that I have my sights set on if I ever get another clear night in New Jersey.
Right.
And there are also astroimaging. I know we have a lot of astroimagers who watch the show. There are also a few astroimaging programs. Like I'm in the process of completing my wide field photography certificate. And that's iterative. So you go back and forth with the person who's, grading it, and there's a committee, and they'll give you suggestions. So you learn a lot through that process as well. So these programs really do reinforce learning.
Yeah.
It's not about just checking the box.
No, yeah, they're very well laid out, I think. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Lisa, for your opinions on that and your thoughts on how they've gone along, and we wish you luck with the next one.
Thank you.
Keep going. Won't
Keep
stop.
going,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Make us all look bad. Okay. Let's go from there then maybe to albino bud.
Albino bud. Let me see if I can get the right screen here.
Okay.
We got anything? Yeah. Okay. Binocular target of the week this week by albino bud is the smiley face. You might think, what is a smiley face? Well, Auriga, if you know where Auriga is, Capella is one of the bright stars coming up in the night sky now, comes across as a big pentagon rising from the northeast sky with a bright star Capella at the top corner. After roughly estimating where the center of the pentagon is, scan the area below and to the right of this central point with binoculars. Very quickly, you'll find an arc of 7 bright stars that come into view looking just like a big smile. And above it are actually 2 eyes. So where do I find it in the sky? At 11 o'clock, that's now with the time change. If you went out and pointed your body roughly 90 degrees to the east or due east, you look up, you see the pentagon of Auriga and the top star Capella. Come about halfway down and a little bit further than halfway down, and it's right in this bottom area here. So not really hard to find. It's big. A little closer look, you'll see M36 and M38, and the smiley face is right in here beside M38. This is what it looks like. Look at that, 2 eyes and a big smiley face. What you're going to see. And there's M38 and M36 in the same field of view. 10 by 50 binoculars. Look at the size of this thing. You can't miss that big smiley face. There's the 2 eyes and the 7 stars that make up the smile. Compared to the full moon, there's at least 2 full moons, if not 3. Pretty big. And watch for the lunar eclipse, they said. It'll be amazing, they said. Told you that was coming.
That's not me there.
Yeah.
And that's Binocular Target of the Week by Albino Bud.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
How do I stop?
Well, there you go. Yeah, let's hope it isn't that, but Anyway, we'll see what happens. We're gonna talk about that in my WhatsApp talk anyway.
I had to throw that Fundy Nebula in there.
You did. Thanks, bunch. Okay, how about from there to an astro tip of the week, Paul?
Yeah. Let me just find where I'm gonna do that from here. Do that first. There and here. Okay, so what I'm gonna talk tonight about is the intervalometer. I know a lot of people, first of all, don't know what an intervalometer is. And a lot of people go out and buy them when they don't know how to use them. And so I just want to kind of demyth a little bit about the intervalometer and then show you quickly on my camera, because I got a camera set up here with one, how to set it up. It's so fast and easy once you understand it a little bit. So first of all, what is an intervalometer? So an intervalometer is an external device that you can plug into your camera to control 4 different settings. I don't know if I can blow that up or not. Can I? I think I can. There we have 4 different settings. So the first one is how long the shutter will be open. The second one is the time between each photograph, how many photographs will be taken, and the time before the first photo will be taken. And these things may seem like kind of funny questions, but if, let's say, for example, you're out, you know that we got this lunar eclipse going to be coming up, and you know, say, for example, it's going to be, say, setting in or breaking the horizon. I'm just throwing things out here. I'm not saying this is going to happen for sure in real life, but if it was happening this way, if you were able to see it rise, for example, then, and if you were out there setting your camera up an hour before that, then the time before the first photo will be taken is important, because once you get everything set up, you can predetermine as to what time that intervalometer is going to actually turn on and get your camera running. So that's the reason for that one. How long the shutter will be open is dependent on your target. So if it's the moon or something like that, that's a fairly bright target. So your shutter's not going to be open very long. So your shutter's length will be very small. However, if you're shooting a dark sky object, then your shutter length is going to be very long. So that's the reason that you have to be able to adjust that. And of course, the time between each photo is important for 2 reasons. Number one is if you have a target that is very slowly tracking the sky and not making fast movements, there's no sense shooting a gazillion pictures that you're only going to use a small segment of them for. So you can actually delay the time between, you know, each photograph so that you have the same distance between each, but you have a nice even amount of photos that'll cover the event that you want to cover. And then how many photos will be taken? Well, again, that too depends on what you're trying to do. If you're doing a time lapse, you're going to be taking a lot of photos, especially if you're doing a Milky Way rise and set like Kim Doucette does. So there's a number of reasons for having all of these capabilities. Let me see if there, whoops, that first page. Yeah, second page. So what are intervalometers useful for? First of all, using an intervalometer is essential if you wish to shoot a time lapse, which we just talked about. It's crucial that the photos are taken at the same interval or between photos. Secondly, intervalometers are for photos where your shutter speed will exceed 30 seconds. Most cameras today have a shutter speed maximum length of 30 seconds on them. And beyond that, you have to go in the bulb to get anything longer. Then you have to use the device to be able to control it. And then thirdly, of course, is an intervalometer is useful when you want shutter speeds to be automated. So again, anything over 30 seconds, say you want a minute and a half, well, then your intervalometer, once you set it, will give you precisely a minute and a half for each one of your photographs. So and by the way, make sure when you choose an intervalometer that you get the one that's made for your camera, because you can get them like anything else. If I buy a Nikon intervalometer, it's not going to work on my Canon camera. So make sure that you get the one that works with your camera. Now, some of the settings for common images on your camera. So I'm using a Canon T3i, which is a very common camera that a gazillion people have out there. So on this particular T3i, you're going to set your camera to bulb mode. So that's where you would set it that's where your shutter speed is. You're going to roll this right down to a 30 seconds and then push it beyond 30 and it goes right into bulb mode. So they want it on bulb. The second thing is you want your drive mode to continuous, because if it's not on continuous, it'll take, well, it may not work very well. If you put it on the continuous with the timers on it, that means the timer is going to count down every time you take a picture. You don't want to do that. So you pop it on continuous mode. For more settings, you always want to shoot in RAW, whatever you're shooting. That's just something I want to put there. Shoot RAW, folks. Don't shoot JPEGs. When it comes to editing your astro images, you need to pull a lot of stuff out of a very dark picture. You don't want limitations by JPEGs. You want as much to work with as possible. So shoot RAW. And excuse me, there's also a long exposure noise reduction built into your camera. Now, what that's designed to do is every time you shoot a picture, when this is on, and if it's more than 1 second long, it will shoot another picture with the shutter closed. It'll drop your mirror and or drop the cover the shutter and take the same picture. So it's doing what they call a dark frame. That's what long exposure noise reduction is. This works really well up to about 1600 ISO. If you're shooting higher than that, you might want to experiment and see how much noise that you may create, which may go the other way. So check on that. So that's something that you really want to look at. So all cameras have long exposure noise reduction, and how well it works will depend really a lot on your camera. But they found the average to be, if you're shooting 1600 or higher, you may still get noise, depending again too on the time of the year. So now let's take a look at setting up an intervalometer. And this is really simple, because the first thing is when you look at this intervalometer I'm showing you here, you're going to see that there's only a few buttons on it. There's this button right here, which is the mode button that lets you select between the 4 things that an intervalometer will do. The first one, of course, is the timer. The second one is the interval, which is the time between shots. The third one is how long you want your frames to be. And the fourth one, how many frames do you want to take? Those are the only 4 things that you have to set. How you set them are with the mode button and with this toggle button here. There's your start stop timer. And this is just the light bulbs. Most people don't even use that because for the most part, you can set it up in the daytime. So, so that's the buttons that are on it. So how it works is quite simple. I'm going to turn off my share screen. And I'm going to just show you on my camera. I'm going to turn off my background as well. And you just give me 1 sec here, and virtual background, and I don't want any. There we go. And I'm going to show you the intervalometer. Oh, hopefully you can see that. I'll turn the light up a bit more, just so you can see a little bit better. There we go. So that's the intervalometer that you saw in the picture. So really, again, there's only a few buttons that are on it. If I can actually stand up here, and I'm going to put it like this because I can't see it. Where's the camera? There we go. So basically all you do, I can't even see it myself. So if I want to, the first thing I want to do is set my timer. So that little timer, you can see that up. No, you probably can't. There we go. So right up in the corner is the little timer. There's always something indicating what mode you're in. So all you have to do is just simply push the mode that you want to start. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I'm going through the 4 modes. Right now I'm in timer. If I press right here, the little flash of the seconds is going, minutes and hours. So however long I want to set that up for. Let's just say I want to set it up for 10 seconds. In other words, it'll start in 10 seconds because the time here, I don't want to do anything crazy. So you just push that little thing up there until it says 10. And once you got it on 10, press the button, press it again, and now the timer's set. Press the mode button again, and now you're going to go to your next selection. This time, it's the intervals. How much space do I want between the picture? So in this case, let's just say I want a 5-second settle down between the pictures. So then I'm going to press that side button again, right there on the side, just a little push in button. Push that in, and then that's going to flash. And again, I'm just going to use that side button to push the up arrow, and I'm going to go to 5. If I can see that. Oh, I can't see what I pushed. Okay, whatever it is, that's what it is anyway. Let's pretend it's 5. And then I push that in again. And now I press my mode button. Now I'm over on how long do I want the frames to be. Let's say I'm going to shoot the Milky Way. let's say I'm using a typical 18 to 55 millimeter lens that's on most kit lenses on the camera, I know that I'm going to get about 18 seconds before I'm going to see star trails. So 18 seconds is how long I want to shoot for. So again, I just simply press the button in and I keep pushing that up until it gives me 18 seconds. And 16, 17, 18, let's say, or 15, whatever that is. Then I push it in again. And then I'm just going to do my final mode. And this time I'm going to put in how many frames do I want. Let's just say I want it, I don't know, 10 frames. So I'll just push that in again. And I'm going to push it up to where it says 10. I can go up on this particular one. I can go up to 99 frames. Some of them you have infinity, which means they'll shoot all night long. Once I've got that done, I'm simply go back to my mode. And then now I'm back in the start mode. So all I have to do now is push my start button. That's now counting down the 10 seconds that we talked about. I'll put it up there so you can see it. And I have a camera right over here that's going to turn on in a second. And there it goes. So now my camera, there we go, is taking that. You can see the timer counting down on the camera. So now I don't have to do anything else. I can go grab my Dobsonian and have a night of observing. There goes my first frame. And this one's also taking a long exposure. So that's why there's a delay. It's not actually a delay. When it does the long exposure, it doesn't show you a countdown clock because it's taking the long exposure along with the first frame. There it goes. And now into my second frame. And that'll continue right on. So that was just that simple to set it up. And like I said, so once you've got that done, then you can spend the rest of the night doing whatever it is that you want to do. So that pretty much is how these intervalometers work. I'll shut that off. And the other thing that I wanted to explain to you was, there we go. You can get them, you can get intervalometers anywhere. There's a barrage of them. You know, and they're saying, well, which is the intervalometer for me? Well, just first of all, make one that your camera will work with your camera. There is a button on this that I forgot to show you, and that's this button right here. And that's the actual manual button. So if you just want to not do the intervalometer, or if you have just a remote shutter like this, and you want to do lapses, put your camera on continuous, like we showed you. Use your dial and select the time that you want, up to 30 seconds, because that's all your camera can do. And then just use this and push it up. And if this is on continuous and this is up, it will take shots for you. It's not going to give you the intervals because it's not an intervalometer if you don't have that section. If you just have a remote shutter, but you can do the same sort of thing, but you can't do the intervals. So anyway, there was one link I want to show you. Let's see if I can find it. This one let me out or no? No, okay, it won't. Okay, I'll find it and I'll get Chris to put it up on the thing. And it's actually a site that will show you how to, using an intervalometer, do the lunar eclipse.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah. So let me just.
Why is there a lunar eclipse coming?
I think so.
Yeah, it's funny.
How do I? Oh, I'm not sharing anyway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. So that's the tip of the week.
Awesome.
Intervalometers explained. Hopefully understood.
Awesome. We did have a couple of questions on that, so I'm glad we got that explanation out. Somebody had sent me a message on that. So
Yeah, Kim Hay was just asking what was the name brand of your particular intervalometer.
okay.
Mine is called a PROST, PROST.
There you go.
Whoop, I disappeared. Oh, it's because, where'd it go?
There it
I
is.
can't tell. There it is.
Yeah, RASC.
Yeah, anytime anybody talks, my screen disappears, so.
Yeah. Another well-known name out there is Newer, N-E-W-E-R.
Yep.
That's one I have.
Yeah, there's lots of them that you can get out there. There's all kinds of them. And they all do the same thing. Now there's, and I want to mention too, if you buy a new camera, some of the newer cameras will have a lot of that stuff built into them now. And you can also get wireless intervalometers too. So there's a lot of options that are out there, but I just want to explain the basics of how to set one up.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. All right. Let's go to a What's Up Talk then maybe next. What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc?
Okay. Let me do a little bit of share screen here first.
Oh, nice fall day.
Wonder what we're going to talk about.
Oh, gee.
Let's take a look. Slideshow from beginning. There we go. Yep, I think we're up. Yep, okay. All right, what's up this week? Well, let's take a look at Tuesday. I'm going to start right with Tuesday, the big one. The total lunar eclipse coming up. Let me make this go like that. That'd be cool. So keep your eyes on the skies on Tuesday morning as we experience the last total lunar eclipse until 2025. Now, for us in the Maritimes, the penumbral phase starts at 4:02 Atlantic time. Partial eclipse, when the moon begins to pass through the darker part of our shadow, begins at 5:09. Now, the times that are listed here are universal times, so that's not us. It's 4 hours minus that. The total eclipse now begins at 6:16 a.m. for us, with a maximum eclipse occurring at 6:59 a.m. Now, farther west, many will get to see the entire eclipse, but here in our area, the moon will set while still eclipsed, which happens at 7:19. Now, I'm hoping to be live on YouTube at 5 a.m. just before the partial eclipse begins, so you can find me at my Astronomy by the Bay YouTube channel. I will only be on YouTube, not on Facebook, because I know that there are people that aren't on Facebook that might want to watch too. So we're going to make it all go to YouTube. Everybody can get to YouTube. So that's our big event. That's it for me. What's up? Yeah, no. Also, well, the full moon is actually going to be eclipsed while it's full. Another interesting part to this is that the moon will turn full while being eclipsed. Of course, lunar eclipse can only occur during the date of a full moon, but in this case, the moon turns full at exactly 7:02 Atlantic time, while it is still near maximum eclipse for us in the Maritimes. So we're hoping you all get clear skies to enjoy the show. Now, also on Tuesday, we got a lot of things happening with Jupiter this week. First of all, Io and its shadow and the Great Red Spot together. Now, on Tuesday evening, you can witness little Io and its shadow with a telescope as they transit across the face of Jupiter. Io will lead the way, transiting from 2125 to 2339. I get them labeled wrong. Should be Io's shadow up top. There we go. Its shadow will follow at about an hour later from 2225 to 2438. Now, as an extra bonus, if you catch the event at the right time, you'll notice the Great Red Spot there as well, a huge anticyclone about twice the size of Earth that's been raging on Jupiter for at least 400 years. Now, also, November the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, the moon is going to be in Taurus. Our waning gibbous moon after our full moon on Tuesday. We'll visit Taurus throughout most of the week. Now, Wednesday evening, it resides near the beautiful Pleiades and the Hyades star clusters. Mars appears near the end of the bull's horns down here. So you can compare the reddish Mars to a British Aldebaran and see what the comparison is here. The Hyades is another nice star cluster to enjoy, along with the beautiful Pleiades, of course. On Wednesday, Uranus is at opposition. Now, Wednesday evening, the planet Uranus is at opposition. Now, when a planet is at opposition with Earth, we are at our closest approach to it. It also means that if you could look down on the solar system, you would see that the Sun, the Earth, and Uranus are all lined up. This also means that as the Sun sets, Uranus rises, and as Uranus sets, the Sun rises. So for us, close doesn't mean just around the corner. We're currently more than 2.79 billion kilometers from Uranus. It's so far away that it takes light more than 2.5 hours to reach us from Uranus. Now, this means that although it can be observed in both binoculars and a telescope, the best you'll see is a greenish blue, for me anyway, greenish blue soft ball of light, unlike the sharp point of a star. I'll give it a try, see if you can spot it. And there's where it should be, right there, next to the Pleiades. Okay, also Wednesday, Io occultation and an eclipse. Now, there are a number of events happening, again, like I mentioned, from our perspective with Jupiter. We're going to start off with a nice occultation of Io by Jupiter at 1838. So it's going to be hiding behind Jupiter, sliding in that way. It will reappear from Jupiter's shadow way out here on the opposite side of Jupiter at about 2152. So about 3 hours later. Also, Wednesday night, later we'll get to do a transit of Europa and Ganymede, both across the face of Jupiter on Wednesday evening. And then we'll have a Europa shadow transit. So as Europa and Ganymede are transiting across Jupiter, Europa's shadow will first of all come into view, traversing from 2106 to 2335. And finally, into the early morning of Thursday, Ganymede's shadow will finally traverse across the face of Jupiter, and it will be visible from about 20 minutes after 12 until the time that Jupiter sets, which is early morning. So won't get to see the whole thing, but most of it. Now also the Great Red Spot. Many opportunities to see that this week. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. There are at least 3 opportunities to view the Great Red Spot this week. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evening, the Great Red Spot is a persistent high-pressure region in the atmosphere of Jupiter, producing an anticyclonic storm that is the largest in the solar system, approximately twice the size of Earth. It produces wind speeds of over 400 kilometers per hour, and it has been in existence for about 400 years now. On Saturday, we got the peak of the North Taurid meteor shower. Now, the North Taurid meteor shower peaks in the early morning hours of Saturday. The shower favors the northern hemisphere, but no matter where you are live worldwide, the best viewing hours are usually in the wee hours just after midnight. Now, the name comes from the location of where the meteors seem to originate up around Taurus up here, right? In this case, the constellation of Taurus near the Pleiades star cluster. Now, with our moon at about 90% illuminated and up all night, it will take some bright fireballs to outshine it. Now, unfortunately, though, the North Taurids are known for fireballs, so fingers crossed. And I've got, I think, 5 or 6 different messages this week of people that have caught fireballs and asked me if anybody else has seen them, and I've been watching to see if anybody else has caught them. But actually, Tim Doucette,
Yeah,
Tim again, yeah.
of all people.
Yeah, down Fundy National Park, Tim with his camera. I wonder if this thing works. And he just come up like that and caught a fireball. But he did the same thing the other night with his location.
Beautiful shot too.
Beautiful shot too. Yeah. So that must have been. I assume that was probably one of them. Come up. It was right beside Orion, I think. Anyway, oh look what we got up here.
Aha!
So Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy More. This is Lisa. You can find Lisa at Arumi Moonbeams on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Lisa puts out this great chart every month. Oh, hang on, there it is. Every month, I follow it religiously to make sure that I'm looking at events. Look at this nice big one here, all this yellow. Isn't that great? That's for Tuesday. Hey, good stuff, Lisa. So she lists all the events that are visible that month, the most important celestial events, the dates that they happen, the peak times for them, and what you need to view them: naked eye, binocular, or telescope. Great little chart. Again, you can follow Lisa at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
And we have this calendar that's out every month. This one is November, December. Calendar takes us right up to the 17th of December, I guess. So it's put out by Kurt Nason, our local veteran astronomer, a member of the St. John Astronomy Club and RASC New Brunswick as well. And Kurt puts this all together, and these are where I get my information for what's happening in our WhatsApp talk. So you can go download that right from the page at sjastronomy.ca. And there's all kinds of other information on that page as well. So go and have fun. There you go. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, let's go from there to our lunar challenge.
Lunar challenge. Binocular Moon Crater Challenge. That one?
That one.
All righty. So last week, the Binocular Moon Crater Challenge was to find Ptolemus. And there she be. It should have been easy to find, especially because the Terminator was at the right point. You should have been able to see it. So moving on from Ptolemus, this week, our lunar challenger is Clavius. Has a diameter of about 231 kilometers and a depth of about 3.5 kilometers. The crater is named for the Jesuit priest, Christopher Clavius, a 16th century German mathematician and astronomer. The crater is one of the older formations of the lunar surface and is likely formed during the Nectarian, is that how you pronounce that? Nectarian?
Nectarian, yeah.
It's close now. Period, about 4 billion years ago, and is the second largest crater visible on the near side, believe it or not. So look for a big one. The inner surface of the rim is hilly, notched, and varies in width. The steepest portion to the south end. The most notable of these is a curving chain of craters that begin with Rutherford to the south and then arc across the floor in a counterclockwise direction, forming a sequence of ever diminishing diameters. The large crater to the smallest, or from the largest to the smallest, the craters are designated Clavius D, C, N, J, and JA. This is a sequence of diminishing craters has proved to be a useful tool for astronomers who want to test the resolution of small telescopes. And you can see the picture here of the craters getting smaller as they go around in a semicircle. So here's Clavius. Again, she's a big crater, and there's that nice curve of diminishing craters inside it that you can use. And that's the binocular challenge of the week.
Awesome.
Clavius.
Thanks. Clavius, good target. Thanks, Mike.
There we go.
All righty.
Ta-da.
Try that one out, folks. And let's go from there to a Rosanna's fun fact.
Dum, 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 dum.
Yeah, all right, let's see if we can get that. All right, let's see, we got that ready to go. I got a shower screen. One more time. And that's going to be
Rosanna's fun fact.
Hey. Hey. And another great Rosanna fun fact we do have this week. So Rosanna, being the timely person that she is, has another wonderfully timed fun fact. So let's just get right into it. So she says, I'm going to show the picture right away that she sent. So she says, hi, Paul. By now, everyone has survived the hauntings from Monday, and perhaps we all are still snacking on leftover treats. I guess we are. Paul treated Facebook users to a wonderful photographic account of Hampton's witches on the water. Now, as I gaze at the photo, I began to wonder about witches and their connection to astronomy. Now, I have many, now I know many might be saying, wait, you mean astrology? But no, back then in the days of witch accusations, trials, and burnings, astrology was actually intertwined with astronomy. Now, many of these women were simply intelligent ladies who followed the phases of the moon and other happenings in the sky, in addition to creating medicinal teas and salves. Now, in fact, Kepler's own mother was accused of witchcraft, jailed, and put on trial. Now, this is the great comet of 1577, which Kepler saw as a child. Kepler's mother took him to see it, possibly igniting his passion for astronomy. Now, Johannes Kepler was born in 1571, lived 1630. He was one of the world's most famous astronomers. He defended Copernicus's sun-centered universe and discovered that planets move in ellipses. A planet, NASA, mission, and planet hunting spacecraft are all named after him. Now, this is a model of Kepler's solar system. Yet in recent years, Kepler and his family have appeared as dubious, even murderous people. In 2004, for example, a team of American journalists alleged that Kepler systematically poisoned the man he succeeded at the court of Rudolf II in Prague. Now, Tycho Brahe was the gentleman. He may well be the scientist with the worst reputation. The journalist's theories are magical and imaginative stretches based on little evidence, which make for an interesting, if also disturbing read. The speculations have not been accepted by scholars. In fact, Brahe's body was exhumed and scientists concluded he did not die of mercury poisoning, or accidental or deliberate, but more likely kidney disease. So, but the majority of slurs concerned the astronomer's mother, Katerina. So there's a little GIF below, which we'll show a little later. In Arthur Koestler's famous history of astronomy, The Sleepwalkers, Katerina features as a hideous little woman whose evil tongue and suspect background predestined her as a victim of witch craze. Then there's John Banville's prize-winning historical novel, Kepler, which vividly portrays Katerina as a crude old woman who makes a dangerous business of healing by boiling potions in a black pot. She meets with the old hags in the kitchen, infested with cat smells. Outside in her garden lies a dead rat. Kepler desperately tries to hide his mother's magical arch from his wife as they visit, and Katerina searches for a bag filled with bat wings. This horrendous mother is scary, disgusting, and probably a witch. So a lonely old lady who probably doesn't care about how she dresses meets with other old lonely ladies. They make dandelion tea or maybe wine. She keeps cats for company. The cats killed a rat. And yes, this is just how rumors get started. So what's the true story? So the true story is actually astounding. Kepler, who was deeply Christian man, used astrology to try to improve on what he felt were character flaws in himself. He was at the height of his career when his mother was accused of witchcraft. Kepler's father had long abandoned the family, not because of the mother, because he was a jerk. So the proceedings, which led to a criminal trial, lasted 6 years. The imperial mathematician formally took over his mother's legal defense. No other public intellectual figure would have ever involved themselves in a similar role, but Kepler put his whole existence on hold, stored up his books, papers, and instruments in boxes, moved his family to South Germany, and spent nearly a year trying to get his mother out of prison. So this is a statue of Katerina Kepler in Eddingen, and it's a district of the city of Leonberg in German federal state, Baden-Württemberg. Now, a woman in her late 70s, she was like in her late 70s, Katerina Kepler was stood at trial and finally imprisonment, during which she was chained to the floor for more than a year. Kepler's defense was a rhetoric masterpiece. He was able to dismantle the inconsistencies in the prosecution case and show that the magical illness for which they blamed his mother could be explained using medical knowledge and common sense. In the autumn of 1621, Katerina was finally set free. Wow, now, if Katerina could withstand a year chained to a floor and a 6-year trial, she was made of a pretty fine character, and it would seem she raised a son of pretty fine character as well. And here's to moms and son. You can be whatever you want to be, but you probably turn out like me. Yeah, that is amazing. And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
Oh man,
Awesome.
that's just amazing. The stuff that she can find
That was interesting.
just blows me away.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that Kepler and his mother had that kind of a story.
Yeah, unbelievable. Chained to a
Wow.
floor for a year. Wow, that's incredible.
Well, 6 years. She went through a trial for 6 years.
Imagine. Yeah.
And then he put everything on hold to get, yeah. Anyway, what a story.
Crazy.
Maybe that's why they call it the Dark Ages, or that was that part of the Dark Ages.
Glad they didn't have electricity.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Rosanna,
was
for that.
fantastic. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Rosanna.
Thank you,
That was
Rosanna,
amazing.
once again, for another great story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our photos. We're getting a little bit late here, so we're going to get into some photos here now, I guess. Give me a second. I'll get some photos opened up. And I'm going to see if I can get my right screen. Okay, now I just got to share my screen. No, not yet. Hang on. I got 15 different windows open here. Where's my photo information? There it is. Okay, I drag that over here. Okay, now I think I can do it. There, now, screen one. Okay, I think that's bringing it up.
There we go.
There we go.
There it is.
Okay, we got Matthew Dupre starting us off. He says, some submissions for the week. I took these last night after a very thin layer of clouds pasted by full shot of the moon was taken, thin layer of clouds. pasted by. A full shot of the moon was taken with a Celestron 9 1/4 with reducer and a Canon T7i, and the two close-up ones were taken with the same scope, but the camera was an ASI 224.
Very nice.
Nice.
There, yeah, Copernicus,
There's some amazing detail in there.
Yeah.
big old Copernicus. Nice, thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, really nice.
We're going to go next to Carol Bean. Carol sent these ones in, a crescent moon back on day 5.
I'm sorry, but that always sounds like Caribbean.
Carol, I believe I'm saying it right. Behan.
It works for me.
Okay, Caribbean, yeah.
Caribbean.
And Jupiter and its moon she's got here.
Oh, sweet.
Nice, eh? And the moon with Jupiter, as it was the other
nice.
night there.
Yes.
Love the
yes.
clouds.
We all caught that the other night. Lots of nice ones. Thank you, Carol. Okay, moving into Bridget Green. Hey, Bridget. She said, hi, Chris. Here's my submission for the week's Crater Challenge.
Bingo.
There you go. Taken on Thursday evening, day 9, which was another one of the this week's stunning clear night skies. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been lucky.
Good stuff, Bridget.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You got it. Oh, who's this one? You want to describe this one? Or I can just put down what you said. She said, hi, Chris. Hi, Lisa. I was out observing the straight wall and realized the lunar target of the week, Ptolemaeus, is right near it.
Right there.
Yeah, the iPhone 13 through a Celestron Nexstar Evolution 8. Wishing you all clear skies. Good
Awesome.
news.
Well
Hey,
done. Thanks, Lisa. Nice shot.
thanks, Lisa.
Nice straight wall, too. That's great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
well done. Okay, we're going to go from there to Corinne McDonald.
Oh,
This one
beautiful.
is last week's crescent moon. Nice, huh?
Beautiful.
Mm. Well done, Corinne. Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
And I believe this is Robert Gadet, moon with Jupiter. Okay, so we got a few of these to go by because I had posted a picture myself of the moon and Jupiter, kind of like this. And then all of a sudden people just started flooding my page with pictures of the moon and Jupiter, which is fantastic. I love the way that people do that. So I'm going to start to share a few of them. So here's Robert Cadet's capture. Here we are with Tim Doucette.
Nice.
And Ruth Emma Barr sent this one in, moon with Jupiter.
There we go.
Here we go. And we got this one from Fiona Wilson,
That's
moon and
right.
Jupiter together.
That looks spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey Craswell sent this one in.
Yes, sir.
He said iPhone 12 using Nightcap app.
Yeah.
Jeremy Costain sent this one in, moon with Jupiter from Hillsborough, right off the phone, he said. Good stuff. Nice
Well
bright
done.
objects, they are too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Mr. Powell,
Yes, sir. There he is.
this Canon 60D and a Tamron 7 to 300 millimeter lens handheld. Pretty good for handheld, Mike.
Image stabilizing. Gotta love it.
Go to Michael Powers here
Ooh,
from
that's
his
nice.
backyard.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Erica Baker, moon with Jupiter. Thank you, Erica. Kathy Adams, moon with Jupiter.
Nice.
Got to hear just as the clouds were developing and beautifully, she said. Yeah, very nice done.
Yeah, nice rings.
Well done. Andrew Senegal. Andrew's on here tonight, I believe.
That's
Moon
cool.
and
Telephone
Jupiter
call
from his,
out, eh?
yeah, from my backyard in Buffalo, New York.
Wow.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. Got this one from Jamie. Why not? Moon and Jupiter. I know it's in there.
It's in there. And
Oh,
I
yes.
like the shot.
Got a similar one. Yeah, nice, huh? And Robert Cadet
Roberts.
again. Yeah. Moon and Jupiter, November the 4th, 2022, 10:30 p.m. Taken with a Canon T7i at ISO 800, f5.6, 135 millimeter, and 1/2500th of a second.
Right on.
Nice done.
But they were close.
Yeah. Oh, who's this one? Oh, we'll give
Yeah,
ahead, Lisa.
who's
Go
doing
ahead.
that?
Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah. Yeah, I was practicing composite photos. So this is actually a composite of 2 photos. One that showed the detail of the moon
Sweet.
Nice.
Well done.
on top of the
Nice.
layout.
Perfect.
Did a nice job.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sending it in. We got Brad Perry, Moon and Jupiter here as well.
Oh,
See,
cool.
just when I thought I could go, he said, just when I thought I could go to bed because I thought it was going to be cloudy.
Look, you got the moons of Jupiter too. That's cool.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
Nice stuff. Thanks, Brad.
Well done.
This one come from Ed Butler.
Ooh.
He said
Yes,
a
sir.
spooky fall scene or just a friendly visit from our distant friends. It could be that too.
Chilly.
Right there, yeah.
Sure.
And we'll move from there to Pat Bacon. Pat sent this one in, the moon with Jupiter,
Oh,
taken
nice.
with an iPhone 11.
Very
Thanks,
nice.
Pat.
Yeah.
Well
Love
done,
this
Pat.
hedge in front of it.
Yeah.
Donna Culp Bennett sent this one in, the moon and Jupiter together.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Donna.
Good.
Andy
Ah,
Creelman sent this one in. He
there
said,
you go.
the moon and Jupiter for my astronomy app.
Awesome.
That's the way to shoot it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff, Andy. Good stuff. Okay, we're going to move from there to Kathy Adams Fitzger's here. He said, hi, Chris. It was nice to see some clear nights this week. The conjunction of the moon and Jupiter started out clear, and I was able to get a nice capture of the moon. Then the clouds rolled in, and for a brief period, they glowed. The image of Jupiter was taken a couple of days earlier on a clear night with average seeing. This one's coming up. There it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice, huh? Yep.
Yeah.
Kathy's
Never
come
gets
a long
old.
way. She's come a long way.
Big work.
Mm.
Yep.
Amazing. Thanks, Kathy. I'm going to bring these ones up from David Hoskin. David, images of the moon along the Terminator line.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice detail.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
I love it.
That's a sharp picture.
That's clean.
Lots of detail there. Yeah,
Well
Wow.
done.
well done. Well done. And another here. And there's there's a straight wall.
Yeah.
Yay.
There it is.
It's awesome.
Good
Oh, look at the
stuff.
bottom down there.
Mm.
Yeah.
I know what that is.
Yeah. Oh, shh, 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 shh. Quiet.
There's your hint of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, David. And Mr. Owen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What can you tell us about this one, Paul?
Well, I was just experimenting. I'm going to be doing a project with another astrophotographer. We're going to combine our efforts on a project. So I had to take out a certain focal length to be able to do the same thing he's going to do. And so I took out a shorter focal length than what I've been using. So this was just an experiment to make sure that the optics were working and all that stuff. And
I think it's working.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think you're working okay. Yeah, it could be a
I
little
do
better.
think it's working. Yeah.
yeah,
Be a little
yeah,
better, but you know.
Doesn't
Wow.
look like that when I experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not experimental.
Yeah.
yeah.
It almost feels like you're flying through it. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's,
that's all narrow band. So
Yeah.
that's hydrogen alpha, sulfur 2, and oxygen 3.
Right on.
And just kind of just put together just to see that the stars, make sure that they were round and everything was, lined up properly. That's what this was an experiment. But it turned out to be about 10 hours worth of data. So
And the detail you get in those dark lanes is incredible.
yeah, and you know what? That's more of the hydrogen alpha that gives you that detail.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a fun target. That's right in Cassiopeia. And
Yeah.
that's the Heart Nebula, the part of it. In the center, of course, is Melat 15.
Mm.
But it's if you're starting into astro imaging, it's really quite an easy target because it's so bright. It gives you lots to work with anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible.
Well done, Paul. Amazing. Yeah. Great stuff. Okay. And from there, if you'd like to send in your photos, we love getting them and we love showing them off. So you can send them into SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com or send them into SNAS, SNAS @astronomybythebay.ca.
And I love that picture.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
That's unbelievable.
As Stefan would say, that's out of this world.
That's
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes me want to go for my Timmies.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, I guess we're at the end of our program tonight. So well, first of all, I'll talk about next week's show. Now, on next week's show, we live in a special place in the country where dark skies are pretty common. And there is a movement towards sharing our night skies with others. It's called astrotourism. And it's a topic we'll discuss next week with a couple of entrepreneurs that are engaged in the industry. You guys all know who they are, but we'll keep that secret for next week. And we hope you can join us for that. And of course, I'm hoping to see all of you on my YouTube channel on early Tuesday morning. I'm going to plug it again for the total lunar eclipse. Let's hope my phone works, because if it doesn't,
I'll bring my phone with me.
yeah, okay.
Just in case you have a backup.
So then, okay, in closing tonight, we want to thank you once again for your continued efforts your continued support of our efforts here. Special thanks to Lisa, of course, for joining us here. Lisa, thank you very much. Please come
Yeah.
back again and join us anytime.
Absolutely.
Great discussion. Also, special thanks once again to Rosanna, of course, for her continued contributions to our program. Thank you, Rosanna. We really do appreciate it. Always great topics. We also hope that all of those who have joined us from Rogers enjoyed the program tonight. If you would like more information about the wonders of the night sky, you can find me at astronomybythebay.ca. Also, special thanks to all of you who share our program out there. Trudy's probably our biggest share, but everybody else who does it as well. That's the one thing that you can do to keep our program going, is to share that post for us. So we do appreciate it. You do have photos that you'd like to send in. Again, you can send them into SNAS at astronomybythebay.ca or Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. Now, if you have suggestions for a topic for a future show, please let us know at the same address. And please let your friends and family know that we'll be back here next Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook to edutain you on astronomy and the wonders of the night sky. So for now then, from Mike, Paul, and Lisa and I, we wish you a safe week, lots of clear skies. As we like to say, guys, open your eyes to view the skies and keep your scopes pointed up. Good night, everyone.